What is up, winning team? Now you're probably wondering why I'm showing you this random field. Well, I'm about to tell you about why I was literally crying tears of just joy and pride earlier. And it all starts with the humble football goal. I have so much I want to tell you guys. I'm going to go sit in the swing in a second because the sun's about to set and it's nice and cold and I'm just, anyway. So, you guys know I've been talking about the Sidemen Sunday, okay? The Sidemen charity match. You know I talk about them, and I'm not going to be mainly talking about them in this video. But what I want to say is, those boys, and all the riches, I say boys, they're literally all pushing 40. They're all older than me, by the way. They started out making simple videos with a phone like what I'm doing now, and just shooting at their local free goal in a park, just like this. Doing those types of things, playing games online. And they did it, and they kept doing it consistently. Even when people thought that they were stupid. Guys, this is what I'm going to give you guys a few examples of people in my generation I'm especially proud of. You know what I mean? I've done the Witches of the World. What have I done? The Wicked Witch of the Year awards. I should do, the flipping Winners of the Year awards, because this is what I'm saying. These guys started doing this stuff when it made no sense to no one. And anybody that wins in life, this is where faith is a secret power, the most best power you can have. If you're the first person to actually think to do something, and in the face of the jury of the sheeple who only knows how to follow, who only knows wants to try something after they've seen it work for somebody else, that's the biggest mistake you can make. The biggest mistake you can make is waiting to see if it works for somebody else, because by that point, they've already got they're the ones who are ahead of you. It now becomes oversaturated. That's why a lot of people are never going to, on social media, ever have as big of a social media as a lot of people. Just like how with Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, a lot of people are never going to make as much on cryptocurrency as the people who got in there at the very beginning. Every season, there's an opportunity of things to do and ways to win. And so the first person I wanted to mention, it all started because earlier I was in a funk and made some prayers to the Lord. I was asking him to send as many angels as he can to help me out. And then I was watching the behind the scenes of Mr. Beast's Beast Games, which, I love Mr. Beast's Beast Games. He's like, if I wasn't a Christian, he would be living my dream, right? Just running these game shows, doing it however he wants. And again, he was somebody else who, at school, people thought he was a weirdo when he was like making these videos, because he started his channel at 12, right? People thought he was a weirdo and like this weird freak dude, and he even says himself in his interviews after the most recent Beast Games that he was happy just to see 5 subscribers, and I know that feeling. Like 5, to see even just 5 people watch the video, to see anybody watch the video. And all he did was he started on his course where he gave out money and he just stayed with it and he studied it. And when he was looking like an idiot, he kept going, right? Now, fast forward, he needed help because he started to get a bit of traction once again. The friends around him, the people around him who actually were prepared to take the risk, similar with the Sidemen, and how, a lot of them started off as friends. So like Josh and Toby were friends before from school. JJ and Simon were friends from school. They would all help each other. Like Simon didn't even used to have his own channel, fast forward in time. Simon now his charity is one of the charities that's going to be at the charity match, which I'm so excited for. And his charity, he's giving money to schools to make sure that kids can go on school trips. And I thought it's such a lovely niche thing to like want to fund. And he says it's because he grew up and he could afford to go to all the school trips he wanted to, and it was some of his favorite memories. And I think he sent over 10,000 kids already, to on school trips whose families wouldn't be able to afford it. Like, this is what these guys are doing. This is the influence. This is what I don't think the older people understand, yeah? These are the influences on the generations that are at school right now. These are the people they've all grown up watching. I'm late to the game. I'm like a grandma to this. So they're all even shocked that I know about any of this stuff, But so that's why I have to catch up a lot on what happened, because I wasn't paying as much attention. But I always knew, like, KSI was one I always knew he would make it. I always knew he would. I just could tell, because he was just ready to be himself and grind online no matter what anybody was saying, which again, going through, continuing despite the naysayers, despite everything. This is why when people are all like, oh, I'm just feeling sorry for myself, that wasn't a really nice way to say that. It's like, yeah, this is like, you're losing because you're so fragile. Like, they mostly get hate. The Sidemen basically have got famous and rich, yeah, purely because they've decided that they're not going to care about how much hate they get, because even if you look at their comments, everyone's always just roasting them and critiquing them as if any of them have anything close to the amount of money in their bank account, yeah? But anyway, they just don't care. They just are like, hey, we know that rage baiting people being angry is far more monetizable than doing a good thing, which we can all see. We all know that. So they just do it and they don't care, right? Same thing. When he started out, when people were laughing at him, he ends up meeting this guy from Little League called Tyler, right? When he was 8, and he also knew his other friend from school, Chandler. And when he first started to make a little bit of money, he hired them both to paid them $8 to be his janitors. How many people would be okay to step in as a janitor on their own friend's project? Now Tyler is the executive, like, producer on the biggest shows that they're doing. He's like the second one after Mr. Beast in the background, and Chandler's the second host with Mr. Beast in the foreground, and they're just making money. They have the most hugest sets. Like, I was just thinking, this is insane. And bearing in mind that Mr. Beast is younger than me, so they've been working together all these years. He can trust these people with everything. These are his friends, the only people that believed in him since the very beginning. Like, I'm trying to show you guys what I'm saying when I'm saying what I need to be saying, what needs to be said. Because when I was seeing the scale, like, Jimmy works 15 hours a day minimum. And when he was showing his schedule, he'll be like filming a whole day of Beast Games, and they're doing a whole set for 200 people. We're going to build a new set. Then the next day he'll go and film another main channel video. And then the next day, so he'll be flying, he did 4 states in one day for like 3 different videos on one day. The next day he flew to Saudi Arabia to film part of Beast Games. And then he's got, we're going to have 100 pilots. Last to take their hand off the freaking airplane wins the plane, and they're all taken down the whole road in like Abu Dhabi, I think. Yeah, they've got the government to allow them to take down the whole road. The entire road. So they've taken up all of traffic. They're like in the middle of the road, and they're taking up all of traffic, and they've just got this huge airplane and all these pilots, yeah, that have signed up to do this, who are trying to remain from not keeping their hands off of the plane. Like, it's insane, his work ethic. He's working 15 to 18 hours every day, all day, every day. He even has, and talk about winning, by the way, he's even making jobs for so many people, like the catering, all the people. They've got editing, they've got 400 cameras, like at Beast Games. They've got this is the biggest thing that's ever been done, right? Everybody's getting money. Everything's getting doubled. He's throwing money at everybody everywhere. People's lives are being changed. People left on episode 1 with 100K, and one lady was like, "I'm so glad I could put a down payment for my house now." Like, just throwing out money. Like I said, how KSI doing the same thing. He's just having people come on, make him laugh. Here's a grand, here's 10,000, here's whatever. He's just throwing out the money to the people. Like, these people are actually doing, like, helping the actual average individual. The same average individuals, by the way, who were probably looking down on them about 10 years ago. Because this is what I'm always thinking when I'm watching Beast Games. It's always, oh, my kids, they love you. My kids, they love you. Yeah, exactly. Because they're watching them and going flashing around the world, living the best life, right? While you're there like, oh, we're going to have to cancel your birthday party because, things are just expensive at the moment. But go to school and get an education and get a student loan. Like, it's not making any sense, And the funny thing about Jimmy as well, bro still goes to the gym. Like, one of the days he'd finished the shoot, yeah, he'd done like 3 or 4 different videos or whatever, yeah, and then he was like, I've still got 2 more like collaborations to do, because at every single set they had at Beast Games, they also brought in influencers, and they were doing like 40 videos with 40 different influencers going on TikTok. They did an episode with freaking Jeff from Survivor. I've never watched Survivor a day in my life. Jeff's been doing Survivor as long as Jimmy has been alive. 27 years. So, and they're just working together, you know, and it was so cool to see that, because I was like, I would have probably never been as interested in watching Survivor as I am now. Now I have to watch all of it because Jeff was so cool and, you know, whatever. But like, I don't really watch the normal TV. I don't like none of these TV networks, nothing. I don't care for that. I like to be on the socials. I rather be on YouTube. I rather be on their own platforms. I'd rather be watching Side Plus on their own particular platform. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, all these people are getting jobs as a result of him. All of these people are getting paid. All these people are getting all this free money that they may never have got, or even at the very minimum, at least exposure. And bro's still going to the gym. So I'm saying, so we've got people who are doing absolutely diddly squat, right? Working the bare minimum 9 to 5 hours, yeah? You haven't got off your ass all day, and you barely done any work, and you're still struggling now. Like this is why I can't. But I have to tell you guys my favourite one. Oh wait, before we get to my favourite of today, because it was the one I watched today, Nicholas and Milana, right? Shout out to Nicholas and Milana. These are all of my favourite people, yeah, that I've been watching over these last few years. Like, I'm reading in the Bible, yeah, and I'm here in the Bible reading about things, and I'm hearing about the Lord, and then I'm looking at the world, I'm looking at the state of the church, and then I'm looking at my generation, I'm looking at what's happening, and I'm looking at how people are treated, right? Nicholas and Milana, I wanted to mention, yeah, because he has done a lot of quite crazy things. But my favourite thing that he did is he ran for Mayor of London, and it was just amazing because he was like, obviously, no one was taking him seriously. Of the adults, as per usual, no one ever does take us seriously. And you know, it was like, oh, the young people, they're not interested in politics. The young people, they don't vote, blah blah blah, whatever it is. And he decided he was going to run for Mayor of London. And what he decided to do, and this is why I think it's masterful, because they don't really say they're doing it, but you can tell, those of us who are a bit older know what's going on, right? So he was like, I'm going to run for Mayor of London. And people are like, what business do you have in Parliament? You know, this, that all the adults always say. It's like, what business do you have to? Because you guys have all been here all this time, and this is what you've done with it. Like I'm saying about the church. So now all of these older leaders, pastors, will now want to get fed up with the state of the church. Now they want to start telling everybody that they're going to hell. Bro, you've been in this thing, bro. You've been in this thing longer than I've been alive. You've been a Christian longer than I've been alive. You've been getting on that pulpit longer than I've been alive. And now you want to tell me, oh, we don't know what we're doing. Oh, you guys have been in your positions of freaking power all these years. You people have been in there like half a century, some of you. And what have you done with that? This is what I feel like Nico did with this whole campaign, because he did a big campaign. He was buying billboards in London, getting himself on buses, going out to where the young people are, and like doing all of this. He does other videos. He's just always doing something unhinged, because he had a whole series where he'd always sneak onto like fights. It's just funny. Right, so anyways, one of his things is he'd wear a suit and he'd wear kids' glasses, yeah. And one of his things in his manifesto was that he wanted to tell Boris Johnson to shush. And it was so funny because bro went on to like the broad, like real life news, and it was so funny to watch them. And then you have the adults sitting there in their suits, feeling all prim and proper and prideful, yeah. Or like, but Nicholas, it doesn't seem like you're really taking this seriously. I mean, you've come here in children's glasses. I can see here, according to your manifesto, that you want to tell Boris Johnson to shush. It just doesn't seem to me that you really care about what's, blah, 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 blah. But then he had actual points in there as well. And the point is, the reason why he was making the joke is because he's saying, you guys and your politics is a joke to us. This is why we don't participate. You guys are a joke. We think you're a joke. And I'm going to prove how much of a joke this is, because bro only went and came 5th place. Oh my gosh. And I remember when it was at the beginning. You can watch everything. The whole series is all the stuff I'm telling you about is on the internet. This is why I love these people doing this stuff, because it's one of those things no one can take away from me. No one can tell me this didn't happen. Yeah, you want proof all the time. Here's your proof. Go on the internet. All the stuff I'm talking about is right there, right? And so you see the whole process, right? And at the beginning, when he was at the first couple of meetings, he's there and again with all the old people and all their suited and booted and yes, I plan to. And I'm seeing, because I also knew at the time, another story, but basically one of the places I used to work, one of the connections, like one of my networks was actually with one of the other people that was running for Mayor of London as well. Yeah. So I was like, and actually low-key I was actually like rooting for him until Nico, and I was like, sorry, it's gonna have to be Nico, because I trust in him more to like make the statement that needed to be made. And that was a statement that was made, was that when you actually, like, you are somebody that people actually respect, they actually vote for you. And that's what I think happened, is because people didn't expect so many people to go out and actually vote for him in the first place. But yeah, the first time when he's with all the adults and they're all like, you're taking this as a joke, like the other candidates, and blah, 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 you're not going to get far, you know, with this, you're not going to get very far doing this. Bro came 5th place. And when I tell you, when he got on stage, the look on the faces of those who lost was the best thing literally ever. I was loving life, guys. I was crying with laughter. Can you see, guys, I'm just the voice of my generation. Can you see why we think you people are a joke? Because you guys all do this, and I was the dumb idiot. Yeah, this is why it hits me hard, because I was the idiot that was the responsible one that did all the things I was told to do, right? And now I'm here suffering, yeah, hating everything. And I wish, at least, I would have rather rolled the dice and then had to go back to uni at 30. I would have rather done that. Like, I really regret so much. But finally, I have to tell you guys about Speed. I show Speed because this guy does not get enough credit for what he is doing, right? He's done this thing where, you know, he's a streamer. And he's been doing this thing where he's been going all over the world and he live streams. And this is the thing, again, about live streaming that I think some people don't understand. The reason why streaming is something we all love so much is because we're sick of the airbrushing. We're sick of if you want to be interviewed by Elle magazine or by E, if you want to get an interview with GQ, if you want to do MTV, you have to be PR trained. And then we're going to spend 30 days we're having 30,000 people editing absolutely every single thing, so it's crisp and perfectly clear. We don't want that. We want real. We want to see real, something real. You know what I mean? So when people are live streaming, this is what I think people don't understand about live streaming. When somebody is live streaming, you see everything. You see every single thing that happens, the things they wanted you to see, the things they didn't want you to see, you know, all of this stuff. And it just makes it feel so real, and it's so refreshing in a world where everything is so airbrushed and everybody's trying so hard to look perfect all the time when you're clearly not perfect, because if everybody was so good at what they were doing, then the world wouldn't be in the state that it's in. And that's what I'm trying to say. So I'll talk about Speed, and I'm specifically going to talk about when he toured Africa, because that was what I watched today. You guys be knowing I've been watching the streams. I will watch the streams. I don't care. The other night I was so disappointed. I was like, I really want to try and stay up throughout the entire night and rewatch the entire 12-hour stream of him and Kai Cenat playing Chained, and I couldn't last the 12 hours, but I was like, please just stay up through the night. I got 6 hours in and I fell asleep, you know. But he did this around Africa, right? So he's like 30 days, 20 countries in Africa, and he's never been before. And when I tell you the emotions that we went through, and to think that there was young people watching this, like, especially as a teacher, especially like he's gone to Shanghai, China, you know what I mean? He's been to India. In India, he was getting bitten by snakes. He got literally bitten by snakes. One of them even gave him a seizure. But every single time he goes to a place, he wears the cultural dress. He eats the cultural food. He's respectful about it. And by the way, he's only just turned 21. I'd just like to add to that as well about the age thing. He's just turned 21. He's so respectful. He doesn't turn his nose up to the fact that they're eating whatever country. He did the tour of Europe. He's going around to everywhere. He went to Hungary. He went to this. So I was watching the tour of Africa one today, and I was just like, I hadn't seen it, and I didn't realize how just insane it really was, because obviously I guess kids all over the world have been inspired by him. And so now when he's arriving at countries, he's getting there, and they get to, where was it? 2 of the countries, yeah, he got to meet Miss Ethiopia was there, right? She was there to greet, like, they're greeting him, they're giving him gifts. He was in, where was he? He was in South Africa. He raced a cheetah. The cheetah scratched him, right? And he's racing a full-blown cheetah, and not like in some little safety cage, right? Like little safety, like everybody's so worried about. I was like, these people living in freedom, by the way. This is what I'm saying. What I'm watching this stuff. I'm reading the Bible, and I'm looking everywhere else, and I'm thinking, nah, freedom ain't here, right? He's doing that. He raced the cheetah, and he beat the cheetah. Yeah, he raced the 2020 men's like sprinting number 1 sprinter from the Olympics 2020, who was in Botswana. When he went to Botswana, beat him, and it was so much like just decorum in the room, because Speed was like, you know, I gotta race him properly. I'm sure that he was so, because every time he was won at anything, everyone's like, well, he's not a professional athlete because he didn't go through the official professional whatever organizations that have existed since the 1800s. So no one ever wants to give him his flowers. So instead of, rising to the occasion, he's just now decided, hey, I'm sure that this is just because, if we were in your turf, if we did this in a proper race, that you would have won. Do you want to do it again? And then the guy's like, no. The win is a win. You have that win. Well done to you. There's just so much humility in the room. I was like, oh, this is gorgeous. I was crying my eyes out, by the way, guys. All this stuff I'm telling you, when I'm watching it, I am sobbing with myself. I'm just like, because it's so beautiful, right? And then he's going to, where did he go? He was the first ever stream at the pyramids. It was the first ever stream. And then there was a sick shot in his little mini documentary he made where he's just doing this backflip in the air, because obviously he backflips everywhere. Like he went to, I can't remember where it was. Where's that place in the world where they've got the big huge Jesus, so you can walk out onto the stairway to nowhere, and it goes all the way out, and I should be just doing a freaking backflip. Bro was athletic. He was going up against the #1 boxer in this country. Like I said, he raced, he tried to race a camel, right? He was asking the elephants, Messi or Ronaldo. And it's so funny because it's like, as much as it's all fun and games, the kids are actually getting to learn about the world better than they ever will in the classroom. He went to Zimbabwe. Oh my gosh, the Zimbabwe ones are making me laugh so much, because apparently he has a guy that looks a lot like him, where they were calling Zimbabwe Speed, and he was there, and they actually do look alike, and they were dressed the same, and they were barking at each other, and it's so funny. And then he went to Victoria Falls. Bro went and literally hung off the edge of the waterfall. Bro doesn't care. He doesn't care. Back to back to back, he's fighting. He did sword fighting in wherever. Oh yeah, he went and did kung fu. He's doing everything, right? He's trying the food, and he's live streaming for 8 hours a day, giving people his energy. I don't think people understand how much energy it takes when you are performing for others. People are draining, because he even said it. He was like, in his interview, I was like, this explains a lot. He goes, I'm not the type of person to get overstimulated, because while I'm out, there's people trying to touch me, there's people shouting my name, there's people doing this. And honestly, I don't mind it. This is my job. I'm a professional. And I was like, shouts out to you, sir, and thank you for being the confirmation that is absolutely not my destiny, but we absolutely love you for it, kind of thing. And so it was just incredible to see him. And then he's going to see, when it stayed in the most luxurious, what is it? Hotel in West Africa in where was it? I can't remember which country it was. Yeah, and then there was also really wholesome moments, like when he went to Senegal, because he knows he's from Senegal. And when he was there, he ended up going to the places where they used to keep the slaves, and I was like, this is good information for people to be seeing, that Africa was keeping its own slaves of its own people. So he went and saw where his people, and he was like, wow, my ancestors were probably here, because they were showing them in these little tiny rooms where they were keeping 15, 20 slaves, because the slaves had misbehaved or whatever. And it's just like, whoa, for people to see that. And then he went to another African country where he met his family, who had gone to Ohio, where he now lives, but then moved back, so he's all reunited with his family again. And it's just amazing. You know what I mean? It's just amazing. And I'm just like, wow. Yeah, his 21st birthday is on one of the countries, I can't remember which one it was, and he was having, and it was just so incredible to watch, and just how, it's like I said, everywhere he goes, all over the world, he tries to learn the language. Like I've seen him when he's going to Shanghai, and he's learning the language, he's talking to the people, he's singing along with the songs, he's doing the dances. Like I said, he's eating the food, he's trying everything without hesitation. He's not turning his eye up to nothing. He's respectful to everybody and to everybody's culture. Like when he's coming onto the chat, he's still doing all the what's up, chat? What's that? And all his being his true self, not trying to airbrush himself for anyone. And it's so beautiful to see. And that was something I also noticed about, Jimmy, Mr. Beast, because when he was working with Jeff, obviously Jeff is an insanely cool guy, and I'm definitely going to be catching up on all 50 seasons of Survivor. I would just like to put that out there. After seeing his episode that he did with Mr. Beast on Beast Games, and Jeff was like, it's so fascinating to watch how Mr. Beast doesn't care about him having his back to the camera or his hat covering his face too much. And I was like, yeah, because we don't need to overproduce. Like, it's something different. And that was really nice about them, is that they really both had embraced each other's like ways of doing things. Because Jimmy was like, no, we want your photographers, we want you to do this episode your way, this is your bag, like you do this the way you know how. And then, you know, it was such a lovely way for them to both like really appreciate what each other was doing and everything like that. And, you know, for him to see that like some people, they're just living freely, and like you don't have to follow by all these rules and these functions because somebody just decided one day. That's what I'm saying. All of these organizations, who decided? There's always my question. Who decided that we had to work 5 days a week? Who decided that was reasonable? Who decided 2 days on the weekend is enough? Who decided that was reasonable? Who decided that the FDA is trustworthy to be the ones to look at our food, and we trust food approved by the FDA, but you want to second guess food cooked by somebody else? You don't even know the person. At least that person you saw. You didn't see the FDA. You don't know who works there. You don't know anybody's name there. Who decided? Like, who gets to decide who's in the Olympics and who's in the organizations, the best athlete in the world, and the best in the Diamond Cup and this cup, the Premier League and the Champions League, the NBA. I don't care, bro. I'm so ready for this. And then I saw another thing that made me feel just amazing. In Hyrox, did like a Hyrox kind of creator Olympics, and I love Hyrox. Hyrox is something I would consider actually training for, because it's kind of like more like a gym goers Olympics. This is the best way to put it. Somebody else put it like that. And again, some of the sidemen participate, some of their friends, because when they're not filming videos, you know what they're doing? They're going off on holiday. I just watched the video before I came out. They all went out skiing for a week. They're not all taking their riches to be on some island. They're not all doing whatever. They're throwing money to their fans. When they're outside of things, they're going and living their lives, and they're all living wholesome lives behind the scenes. Because how is Jimmy and his schedule still got a fiance now? And they're all there holding hands, and she's all backstage smiling. You know what I mean? The sidemen are all doing all their holidays but having kids. This is why I'm excited about the sidemen charity match, because I know that the days are coming where they're going to have to settle down, right? But, you know, and they're not worried about nothing, right? Because guess what? The wedding what? They're like, one of them had a 250K wedding, the other one had a 150K wedding. Because they can. What are you talking about? Because they can. They're just buying the house, whatever they need to buy for the house, whatever food they need, whatever they need. They got it. They want it. And JJ is one of my favorites about him. Is he's so humble outside of what he does for work. Like, and he's at home, literally like doing jigsaw puzzles, playing Jenga. You know what I mean? They're not being like weirdos. They're grinding and as much as possible. And one thing that really stuck out to me the other day, and it really made me like emotional, was Simon, like I said, for his charity, M7 Education. He all of a sudden last minute got access to a paddle gym for 3 hours, and a company had asked, hey, we want to sponsor a charity event for you, but the only thing is, can we do it tomorrow? And he was like, well, and so he did. And the fact that he was able to call upon his friends, and all of his friends, all these guys were doing all these things, yeah, and these people showed up, and I watched the 3-hour stream, by the way. And it was funny because obviously it was so last minute. There was a lot of kinks. There was issues with the mics and the camera angles. But we don't care. You know why? Because we're just happy to be there, because we're happy to support. And they're raising money to go to these kids. And these kids are getting to see the money. These kids are having KSI show up at the school with a £25,000 check to contribute to the school fund. While the government is paying 50 mil to help languages. And kids are being pulled out of school left, right, and centre. Like, this place is a joke, you guys. That's what I'm saying. And it's all the people who are being laughed at. That's my point. It's all the people who are being laughed at, all the people who are being ridiculed for doing nothing or wasting their time, yeah? Because you people couldn't get it, because you people only know how to follow. And that's why we're here, because we just came from generations of followers. People who just follow and just say yes and okay, and don't think for yourselves and don't have critical thinking. Because that's why nobody can do maths, because it's all critical thinking. So if you can't think for yourself, well, then you're going to struggle, mate. You're going to struggle if you need somebody to tell you exactly how to do everything. That's not how problem solving works, my friend. That's not how it works. And that's how a lot of people live. Like, when I walk around and I just watch how everybody literally just does the same basic things every day, waking up around, like, there's traffic always at the same time of day, right? When everyone's trying to get to work and school, and when everyone's trying to get to home. And then, of course, the world capitalizes off of that. So transportation costs more in those times, and this and that costs more in those times. It's like we're all so dumb and dense, you know what I mean? And then when it's time for holidays, because everybody's on holiday at the same time, then the holiday times are the worst times to go to places. This is why I love my life, because I'm like, I'd be going to places at the middle of I'd be getting cheap flights, cheap this, I'd be not really seeing any tourists because I'm going on the hours at the times when other people can't make it. I'm living my life, but no, everybody else, you now want to do this. Like, everybody's literally following the same choreography. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, in different languages, in different countries all over the world. Everyone's just following the same choreography. And then when somebody else comes in with a different choreography, it's like, whoa, don't do that. That's not the choreography. That's not the accepted choreography. You're crazy. But then when that person succeeds, it's like, oh, we want to run to this choreography now. And this is why I'm like, yeah, now, oh yeah, everyone's on social media now. Now we've got How I Feed My Family of 5 and a low budget. That's why I love watching these videos, because they make me laugh. You know, they make me laugh. How I do this. Oh, I love this guy. This guy's garden is amazing. Is he there? Oh my gosh, I must be his son. This guy is always doing his garden. I'm not going to show because his kid's there. He's always doing his garden, and his garden is beautiful. And he's one of those people where I'm like, I want to know what it is inside of you that keeps you this dedicated, because I need to find it within me. Like, this is what I was thinking about Mr. Beast. I was like, I need to find whatever is in him that makes him so dedicated to care so much, because I don't have anything I care enough about, to be honest with you. I've said that before. I just don't care. I just don't care to put the hours in. And this is what I'm saying, even when I'm watching these people, I'm like, something is driving them, and maybe it's because what they're doing is working and they're enjoying it. I don't know. But yeah, so yeah, this stuff is inspiring, guys. These people actually have made me feel inspired. That's why I'm in such a better mood from when I've, like, the other videos you've been seeing from me, because I'm actually seeing like winners and winning. You know what I mean? And like, why, like, and this is my thing, yeah. If God created us all individually, with individual gifts and talents, then why should our lives all mirror so much? You know what I mean? Why should our lives mirror? They shouldn't. Everything should be done in the way that, how many times is this venue going to change? They don't understand what road they're on. The local people can't afford this. This is what I'm saying. These people keep putting in, yeah, all these businesses, thinking, yeah, we're going to get the one that we've been seeing going crazy on TikTok, and they're going to putting up all these grass walls for the girlies to do their photos to. It's like, people don't have the money, mate. How about start with lowering the cost of transportation, lowering the prices of the housings and things? How about start with that? How about start with the necessities, the bare necessities? You know what I mean? And so you just keep watching business after business, like open, stay for like 6 months, close, next business, open, stay for 6 months, close. And it's like, I just love how brain dead we all are. That's what I just say. So anyway, yeah, that's the story. So yeah, I'm excited, guys. I'm so happy. I'm so proud. I'm so proud. And I'm like, this is what you guys, I feel like some people don't understand. This is what the kids are seeing while they are unsupervised on the internet. And this is a problem I have with adults, because adults won't take the time. I started getting into all these things because I was proactively trying to find ways to like relate to, well, it started actually with my brothers. That's how I ended up getting into the Sidemen. Because when we were like all throughout our lives, the way I would always hang out with them is, rather than try to argue with them about what they were doing, is I'll just get involved with whatever they were doing. Like, so that's how I started gaming, for example. Well, not how I started gaming, how I started paying like on like gaming consoles, because we couldn't afford that when I was their age. But now my youngest brother's got PS5, Xbox this, Nintendo Switch. He's got everything under the sun, and bro was talking about, oh my gosh, this is only going at 65 frames per second. I was like, oh my gosh. But I'm happy for him, you know? So yeah, like, I would just go and hang out with them. I would just watch, or I'll commentate on the sidelines, and they would actually low-key be like, hey, do you want to try? And then I would, and then they would roast me. And then, you know, they'll be watching videos, and I'll just go and hang out with them. Like, I'll just go and be with them and doing what they're doing. And it taught me something about, like, you know, kids as well. Like, sometimes just go and invest in whatever they're doing. Like, even like I said with the games like Roblox, because I would know so many of the kids I knew were on Roblox. I was like, I don't think there's any adult who's on Roblox, so I'll be the one to join. So I joined Roblox and I'll play with the kids. I'll play with them, you know, in the appropriate settings, of course. And that's why I know about the risks and stuff there, because I'm actually there. Like, I've taken the time to actually listen out to what's happening. And that's what I feel like has to happen for us to have success, is we all have to hear each other out wherever we're coming from. And that's what I loved about Jeff and Jimmy with the Beast Games Ex-Survivor episode. They both just, well, you could see they were both truly fascinated by each other, but so wanting to like learn and understand each other. And because they did, they created such a beautiful magic together, and like their whole teams were just gelling incredibly, you know. They were just really getting on because they were like, oh, we loved them, they're our vibe, they welcomed us into the family, they embraced each other for who they were and everything like that. And it was just a beautiful thing to see. And that's what I'm saying here, guys. Like, we gotta wise up, because low-key, I can't even lie, for the sake of the younger folks, I'll be the one to put everything into words, because I would hope that they would never have to. I would hope we could make some changes before a lot of them have their prefrontal lobe finally form, like me, who is literally wondering if it's possible to get a lobotomy still. That's one thing I've been thinking about. I'm hoping we can like actually wake up a little bit by before that time. Like, I'm really trying to like make some change and see some change, you know, before they get to that stage, so that they can hold on to some of this innocence that they have, you know, and this hope, and so they can actually see success in this life, you know. So yeah, anyways, that's what I had to say. It's just too good, mate. It's just too good, and you just can't make this stuff up. You just can't. So I'm proud of them. I'm proud of what they're achieving, and I'm also proud of the kids at school, guys. The kids have been working so hard this year. Like, the kids are so focused. I'm just here doing my job, and I'm thinking, you guys, some of you are going through some really extreme things. The work is definitely harder, a lot harder than it was. The world is an ugly place, and everything is amplified. Like I said, I was being told by one kid who's whatever girl or whatever friend got caught cheating. This is at secondary school because of TikTok. So now it's like the things that would happen in the past, whereas I have, you know, stories about me going around the town, but at least it's just, you know, on MSN or word of mouth or BlackBerry Messenger. Now it's like the same sorts of things are happening like on a large scale, on like full-blown social media to teenagers. It's really horrifying. And, you know, the contact that they get from like weirdo older people trying to take advantage of them, you know, makes me really sad. But then also, I thought this was important to mention, to show there's actually a really good positive to it as well, that there are some people out there, some of the people that are setting the standard, who are inspiring them. They're actually inspiring, and they're actually doing the damn thing, and they're actually showing the kids like hope in this bleak hellscape that we're living in, because that's what they represent. They represent hope. They represent the possibilities to still succeed when so much is working against us, and the older generations are constantly reminding us about how much better things were in your day. The music was better in our day. This was better in our day. Yeah, we know everything was better in your day. So then stop getting annoyed at us when we're talking about how we're having mental health issues, when we know that things are better in your day. That's all you want to tell us about. It's like, you don't even want to let us have fun. Oh, back in our day, things are like this. I'm so glad I didn't have to grow up in this generation of how the world is. Like, do you think that helps at all? Do you think that's nice for us to hear? That's depressing. That's so depressing. And I'm going to start calling everything out that I'm talking about. Like, when adults do this, I've decided I'm going to start saying it to people's faces. And this is why I was going to start saying, and this is why we all want to kill ourselves. You're right, it was better back in your day. And you guys keep reminding us, and this is exactly why. And I'm going to start with that, by the way. This is what I've been thinking about. Anyways, I'm going to go because the sun is setting, and I don't want my phone to die because I need to go back out again. I literally just need to go inside and come back out again. Anyways, if life's a game, let's play to win. I hope you guys understand where I'm coming from and why I feel so passionately, because when I see stuff like this and I'm reminded, especially like with everything I'm going through, it's like, oh, this is why. I'm not saying social media is the answer, by the way. I'm talking about evolving with the times and taking advantage of the opportunities before you, because as the times evolve, opportunities will come, and they always come in a way that's actually genuinely accessible to everyone. It doesn't have to be social media. These guys they're just examples, right? And you got to go with the times as they're happening. So you can't be stuck in your ways, stuck in the past, respectfully. Anyways, if life's a game, let's play to win. God bless you all. God loves you. I love you. I'll see you in my next one.